Hello everyone and welcome to episode 1 of my new wiring tutorial series. So the first aspect of wiring is obviously these red wires and these buttons. For example, if I click this button, it'll power on that light. Wires can be in many different shapes and sizes. We have this wire, it basically just turns the wire. You have this wire that has two different sides, so you could power two things up. Now, we're going to talk about the difference between the big and the small button. Oh, notice how when I shoot this button, it powers on. But when I shoot this button, no matter how good the accuracy, it will not power on. Along with using the bat and explosives. Only difference is this has to be turned on by the player, and this can be turned on by basically any gadget that explodes or damages the player. Now we're going to talk about wireless connections. Here we have two different colored signals. We have the yellow signal, which will lead to the yellow receiver, and we have the red signal that will be sent to the red receiver. For example, I click this button, the one connected to the yellow receiver is turned on, and the one connected to the red receiver, when I click that one, is turned on. Now we're going to talk about the AND gate. Let's say I click one of these buttons, it doesn't power on. Let's say I click the other button, it doesn't power on. It needs to get power from both of these inputs to send out an output. Now this is, I'd call it the reverse switch. I don't know what it's called, but this just reverses the signal. So if it's not getting power, it'll send out an output. But if it is getting power, it will turn off. This is the XOR block. The XOR block, I send out a signal in the back, it sends out a signal. I send a signal through the side, it sends out a signal. But if I send signals for both, it will turn off. So if it gets both signals, it will not send an output. Now here's the toggle switch. The toggle switch is used for like a toggle. For example, I click that, it turns on, and it stays on until it gets another. Now we have it on. I click this from the side, it turns off, and I click it on the side again, it doesn't turn on because this is the reset. It just resets the toggle, meaning it will force it off no matter what. Next thing we'll be talking about is the randomizer block. The randomizer block is good for, well, random stuff and wiring stuff. Now we're going to be talking about different ways to send out outputs. First, we got the key. The key has to be the correct color to go into the correct keyhole. So, let's say I had like a blue keyhole right here. It wouldn't work, but the red key would go into the red keyhole. Now we're going to be talking about item inputs, or item receivers. Let's see. This needs a ball. Let's say I try to put in a frisbee. Doesn't work. But I get the tennis ball, and it works. There will be a part 2 soon to this series. It will cover some more complicated stuff in wiring. Anyways, that's it for the video, and see you next time.